Progressives are the one going, people in this country want Medicare for all. Do something. They're the ones that have a principled agenda that they are going to put forth that all the Democrats have run from in under the guise of we have to be moderate and we have to be centrist.
Conservative quote-unquote Democrat Stephen A. Smith is continuing his promo run as he seems to be gearing up in his run for office. But he gets checked by Jon Stewart because of his silly idea that to defeat Republicans, you have to be more like Republicans, to be more right-wing, to be more conservative than the conservatives, which is a losing battle. It's always been, and it always will be. We've previously covered how Stephen A. Smith is just a Republican that wants to call himself a Democrat. And by that I mean, according to him, his main issues, his main priorities will be the border and making sure the moneyed interests are happy.
I would tell you that I would have closed the border. I can tell you that. See, I wouldn't be bothering people who are already in the country, but I would do everything within my power to ensure that no one else enters. I can tell you that much. And then I would target, just like Mr. Holman is doing with ICE, I would target criminals that are in this country illegally, and I'd get them up out of here. Oh, yes, no question about it. I would that would definitely be near or right at the top of my list. I would close the borders. I would target criminals, you understand, that are in this country illegally. And I would be doing everything that I can to fuel the economy, because here's my personal belief. That's why I tell you I'm a capitalist.
He thinks that being to the left of the Democratic Party is a bad thing. So he wants to be a Republican, but doesn't think he's going to be taken seriously as a Republican. So he wants to still keep those politics, still support those policies, but call himself a Democrat. He's essentially running to be controlled opposition. He doesn't actually want to be any different from the Republicans in office today or ever before. He wants to continue that legacy with terrible policies for regular people, but is hoping that that gets covered by being part of the Democrats, because that's usually how it goes. Joe Biden, Barack Obama, they're all conservatives, but because they call themselves Democrats, people just assume they're of the left, which is not the case at all. And you can tell that by how much disdain they have for somebody like Bernie Sanders, who still capitulates to them. Jon Stewart does a great job of explaining how there's actually separate groups of people in the Democratic Party, and that just because the Democrats win, that doesn't mean that the left won or that the left is supporting that. So let's watch this short clip and then we'll talk about it afterwards.
They allowed what people would consider to be a centrist, old guard Democrat to run again for president, and then you say the progressive left wing is the one that didn't. They didn't choose Joe Biden. They don't have the power in that party. Chuck Schumer is out there, writing 8 strongly worded questions to Donald Trump about getting. The progressives are the one going, people in this country want Medicare for all. Do something. They're the ones that have a principled agenda that they are going to put forth that all the Democrats have run from in under the guise of we have to be moderate and we have to be centrist. But that doesn't appeal to changing the culture and dynamic of how this government should work by the people, for the people, of the people.
That's a great argument, and I don't disagree. What I'm saying to you is that
we're done here.
Stephen A. Smith said, I don't disagree to the idea that an opposition party should actually be for something. And that something should be policies that help people from the poorest up, not from the richest down. Because that trickle down never actually reaches real people. So which part of that do you actually understand? If your main focus is not healthcare for everybody and making sure people have a place to live, instead is just focusing on the border, then do you actually understand that argument? Stephen A. Smith is running as the new wolf in sheep's clothing. It's very pathetic because he clearly thinks that if you listen to him long enough, you're going to be convinced that maybe it's okay to not actually fight for regular people. And obviously he's not officially running yet, but he's doing all of this to plant a seed. And we have to stay vigilant because just because he's visible, he thinks he's popular. That's not what that means. You have a bunch of shows at ESPN and you have your own YouTube channel. That's all great. That does not mean people will vote for you, especially because the people who you want to vote for you want policies in exchange for that vote. But you don't want that. You're going to eventually start raising money from the richest people in the world to then full on do what they say because you already agree with them. You may not like his personality, but policy wise, there will be no difference between Trump and Stephen A. Smith. All the stuff we're seeing with ICE right now will be continued under a Stephen A. Smith presidency. And I really hope that that never happens. I hope he gets completely embarrassed if he ever actually runs for office. If there was a vote right now, I don't know who I'd support, but it's for sure not going to be anybody who considers themselves a right-wing Democrat. Because I'd rather you run as what you actually are. If you're a Republican and all your policies are right-wing, then run as a Republican. People are at least going to respect that. I'd much rather a clear enemy than a fake friend, because you're running as a weasel, and I can never respect that. But if you know who you support, let me know in the comment section. Let me know what you think about all this in the comment section. Like and subscribe. Peace.